Did Deadspin just sign their death warrant? Stick around and find out. It's Monday morning, you wake up, put on your boots, get ready to head off to work, but it's okay. Even though your Kansas City Chiefs lost, you had a great time at the game with your 9-year-old son, who, much to the pleasure of everybody around him, really shined as a fan, showing off his enthusiasm for the team with his Native American headdress and his war paint. You think nothing of it. He got pictures with cheerleaders. He was on the broadcast a few times. Life is good. Then your phone rings. You answer it. Hello? Hello? Can you hear me? It's a friend. Your friend says, hey, you need to go check out Twitter, like now. You go check out Twitter, and there's a picture of your son, and you think, there's a picture of my son right there. And above that, your son is being accused of being a racist, when all he was doing was trying to support his team. This is the nightmare that two parents faced this week. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I'm going to tell you how this family's not taking this lying down. So let's get into the details of what actually happened with this story and then clear up any misconceptions you may have about this child. So the controversy was brought to life when this picture of a 9-year-old Holden Armenta appeared online. Now at first looks, it looks like this kid is culturally appropriating Native Americans and Black Americans at the same time. However, what if I were to tell you that the other side of this kid's face was painted red? And I also want to ask yourself, when you were 9-year-old, did you give a crap about civil rights? Did the world's problems affect you? My guess is they probably didn't, as most 9-year-olds are more concerned with what their friends are doing down the street. I'll tell you what these kids are not worried about. And that's social issues, right? Because kids aren't meant to be pushed into the cultural narrative. Their job is to just play, make believe, and help grow their imagination so that when they grow up and they become adults, they're not these boring stick in the muds.
At this point, I reveal myself in my true colors as a stick in the mud.
But no, not Carron. Carron believes that this 9-year-old has a very racist agenda and that he is out there trying to portray nothing but hate and spew that nasty rhetoric as a toxic cancer to the world.
America deserved 9/11, dude. I'm saying it.
I mean, just saying that absolutely sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Think about a 9-year-old that you may know. I know this because my daughter's actually 9. And the last thing my daughter cares about is race. She plays with anybody who is happy to play with her. She does not care about what they look like. Racism is taught. I'm pretty sure that we've all realized this by now. Now, if this kid just went out with nothing but blackface on and was just going around flipping the bird at everybody, yeah, this guy might have a point during this article, but he's not, right? This kid just put on a Native American headdress to go support a team that is a Native American-based team. And as we all know, many tribes used warrior face paint when they were heading into battle. And a lot of fans view going to football games like heading into battle, right? Your team's going to do battle on the gridiron. At least for us in Philadelphia, it feels like going into battle. When our birds lose, that whole week sucks.
I'm tired of fucking losing, dude. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of being a bitch.
I don't know if that's how it is for other fans, but that's how it is for us in the city of brotherly love. If you ever shamed a Philadelphia sports fan for wearing fan gear, you would hear about it from everyone.
Whoa, what you got? F stands for stupid fuck.
Now, this is clearly the laziest virtue signaling that I've ever seen in an article, but it definitely seems like Carron was trying to find something major to get upset about when he was writing this. What better way than to attack this poor kid? Not only did he attack this poor kid, but he also attacked CBS broadcast for showing him on live TV.
Writing, quote, "This has nothing to do with the NFL." Also, CBS showed him multiple times, and this is the photo people chose to blast to create division. He is Native American. Just stop already, Deadspin.
But here's where the narrative gets a little bit sus. They showed a picture of only Holden's side of black and not his side of red, because if they showed the full picture, then they know that this would have been shot down completely. He was trying to manipulate the evidence to suit his narrative. The major media manipulating stories to suit their narrative, it is completely shocking. I know. I'm appalled too. I could not have imagined something like this happening today. Because we all know it's that the major media corporations are very, very truthful and transparent with what they report on. I mean, he literally labeled the article, "The NFL needs to speak out against the Kansas City Chiefs fan in the blackface native headdress." And the piece blasted Holden for doubling down on racism, marveling that he found a way to hate black people and Native Americans at the same time. This is a 9-year-old kid we're talking about. Do you think this kid gave a crap when he put that face paint on? Do you think that he was like, F black people? Or do you think that he was just like, go Chiefs? Phillips also wrote that despite their age, who taught this person that what they were wearing was appropriate? Well, most parents would probably not have a problem with this. Instead, they probably thought it was adorable, as seen by all the pictures that people took with this kid while he was at this game. But within 48 hours, this guy would get a blast of reality that he was not expecting. Nowadays, with the way call-out culture on the internet is, people feel like they can say whatever they want about someone and not have to face any repercussions. Well, boy, did Carron get a rude awakening there.
Oh, yes, we're going to see it. The rude awakening, he nailed him with it.
Because soon you found out from the boy's mother that not only is he Native American, but his grandfather is the board member of a local Native American tribe, the Chumash. So not only is it appropriate for this kid to wear this stuff, but he's more Native American than the guy preaching about how offended he is that the kid's Native American. His mother wrote on Facebook, he's Native American. This has absolutely nothing to do with the NFL. Just stop already. My heart breaks for these poor parents. I could not imagine being in this situation. You go to a game just to have a little bit of fun. Next thing you know, you are on front page news having to defend your 9-year-old child from racism allegations. Is this what we've come to as a society, that this is okay for us to do? At the very least, Carron could have wrote an article from a compassionate standpoint about how this may come off offensive, but that's not what he did. He decided to double down and go after this kid and try to get him canceled. A 9-year-old boy. So the boy's grandfather is Raul Armenta, and he's reportedly a board member of the Chumash tribe in Santa Ynez. People have reached out to Raul to confirm this, but apparently hasn't answered because why would he? This is pretty stupid. If you still read Deadspin after a report like this coming out, then I don't know what to tell you, because clearly they're trying to manipulate these narratives to fit what they think is right instead of what is actually right. I mean, this isn't a shock. Like, the belief in media, especially big media these days, is at an all-time low. Nobody believes a word that the papers say these days. So it's not hard to believe why after stories like this come out. In a now-deleted tweet, he bizarrely claims the kid's red cheek was further proof of his thesis. Carron said, "For these idiots in mentions who treating this as some harmless act because the other side of his face was painted red, I could make the argument that this is even worse," he wrote. "Y'all are the ones who hate Mexicans but wear sombreros on Cinco de Mayo." First off, I don't think anybody really cares about that, right? Sombreros are a big hat used to block out the sun. That's what they were designed for. Or you'd have to come after every single mariachi band for cultural appropriating their own culture. I mean, that's essentially what you would have to do, right? And I don't think that this guy realizes that he himself is being racist by culturally appropriating Mexicans. So he's actually doing what he's accusing this kid of doing. And Phillips wasn't the only one. A former ESPN personality, Dan Le Batard. Yes, I could have found a better picture, but if I had to look at this through my searches, now so do you. A Cheeto pointed out this sounds like Dan Libtard. He says the kid's red cheek was most offensive. The only part of him that was not intentionally kind of racist is the black part, Dan Le Batard said. Dude, this guy, I used to watch this guy. I actually used to like what this guy had to say, but he has gone off the deep end. Why can't sports reporters just focus on sports? Why do they always have to influx their social justice, virtue signaling bullshit into all their narratives? This is like the most pathetic virtue signaling I've ever seen. I think another issue to point out here is Carron Phillips is a black man who is basically trying to act like he is the voice for the Native American people. If there's one thing that you've learned from me on this channel is that I don't feel like anybody has the right to speak for another race. It's just simple as that. If you need further proof, just go watch my video where I react to liberal whites versus conservative blacks. I make it pretty clear there, and so does the black conservatives, that they don't need anybody to speak for them. And this guy's doing nothing different than that in this article. Now, I think it's really important to remember that this kid is 9 years old, okay? We cannot assume that these kids are aware of the greater picture that's going on in our society right now. And even more shame on the article writer for trying to twist the narrative to make it seem like this kid is a racist piece of crap. The kid is Native American. He has every right to wear that. And even if he wasn't, he has every right to wear what he wants to support his team. That is simply how the world should work. Freedom of expression should not stop at sexuality. It should extend to all aspects of humankind. If I wanted to dress like a ninja, I should not be yelled at for culture appropriating Asians, right? Everybody loves ninjas. Ninjas are badass. right? Same thing with Native American chiefs and warriors. They're badass. If people want to replicate that, they have every right to. Cultural appropriation is cultural appreciation, in my opinion. So if someone wants to wear something in honor of a culture, it should not be looked at as sinful. It should be applauded, especially if you're a white person honoring a minority group. I can't think of something more respectful and appreciating than dressing up as a culture to signify your appreciation for that culture. Isn't that what we want, right? All cultures coming together to signify their appreciation for one another. That is what I would prefer happen in the world. So just use this as a cautionary tale. Before you go jumping out and attacking somebody on something you don't know, maybe stop. Instead of trying to push that article out the first day to be the first one to cover the story, stop, maybe reach out to the family. Ask if the kid's Native American before you post a stupid article like this, or else you're going to become the laughing stock of the internet, which this guy clearly is. We've gotten so used to calling each other out in this world that we don't cut each other no breaks. Everybody's looking for the next target, and I think that needs to stop, or else this world's going to become very unbearable for everybody very fast. Yes, we should all live up to certain standards, but those standards should not be so high that nobody can live up to them. We're basically hunting on the internet for our next target. And even though we're not physically shooting them with a gun per se, we are physically going after them and attacking them in a way that could destroy their reputation and make their life a lot harder. Thank God this kid was Native American, because I can only imagine the backlash he would have gotten if he wasn't. But at the end of the day, the kid is still only 9 years old. And shame on you, Deadspin, for allowing this guy to publish this, and even more shame on you, Carron, for trying to use your holier-than-thou persona to try and act like you were speaking on behalf of being a warrior for a culture that frankly probably doesn't need that protection. So again, I just ask you all, in the future, pause the brakes before you make judgments on things and try to get the real knowledge. Because everybody running amok and twisting narratives and turning things into things that you need to fight for, or you think that are wrong, or just blindly agreeing with someone who writes an article about someone before you even know what's going on, is destroying the very fabric of the reality that we live in. And it needs to stop. Now, you may be sitting there wondering, why do I got a black hat on, a black tank top now, when the rest of the video had a white hat and a gray tank top? Well, that's because the parents of the 9-year-old are threatening to sue Deadspin unless Deadspin retracts the allegations they made towards their child about being racist and being full of hate, which they literally said in the article. And personally, I think that they should. They have uprooted this family's life just because this kid wanted to be a fan of his team. This kid is almost a household name. I blocked out his face during this video just because if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't want my 9-year-old being seen any more than they already are. This family's had their life uprooted already just because of this dude who can't seem to write an article without calling someone or something racist. Social justice moron, Carron. Oh yeah, you're such a big guy calling out a 9-year-old. Look how tough you are. Cool story, bro. And personally, I hope they win. Apparently, they went and got some real high-end attorneys. Now, if Deadspin did the right thing, they would print a retraction. So hopefully they do. But if not, I hope this family sues Deadspin for everything they got, because this guy is clearly a race baiter who has nothing better to do than look for things to get upset about. It's like I said earlier, the internet has become nothing more than call-out culture. And I think that it needs to stop. Like, this guy wouldn't be the mockery of the internet if he didn't call out this kid. So let that sink in. That is karma and justice served. Remember the old saying, when you have one finger pointed, there's several pointing back at you. Maybe Deadspin being sued into oblivion may help other large media companies maybe think twice about putting out articles like this in the future about people they don't know anything about. However, guys, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up and a like, maybe subscribe. And if you enjoyed watching me lay the smackdown on this social justice warrior, perhaps you would enjoy watching me lay the smackdown on a group of social justice warriors. So by clicking this video right here. Peace out, guys.